You know, Robo-Lawyer, times have changed. This week we're looking at offensive publications. It wasn't too many years ago, I can tell you, that the main subject of the offensive publications would have been looking at the obscene and the indecent and the banning of certain books and banning or heavily censoring particular films because of their content. It mightn't have been the ideas, and they generally about sex and sexual activity and bad language and those sorts of things. But it's really changed a lot these days, and I guess sort of some of the stuff that we see on television now, I'd never expected to have seen it on TV. No, but certainly I think when we look at the textbook, it's chapter 9 where it's got offensive publications. It's all changed. The community standards test decides what's considered obscene, but really the classification of publications has sort of taken a lot of the heat out of that. And certainly there are websites, and I think we look at one of them where they're arguing for complete freedom of speech. But classification of publications has been a way where, yes, people... Hello, pencil dog. Hello. I do love your nose. Pat your nose. How people are able to see what they want to see and yet protect other sections of the community from it. So really, all the heat's sort of gone out of that. What we've got now is got things like racial vilification legislation, both at state and federal level, and like those sorts of things sort of years ago just unheard of. We didn't have it. Now the only problem is that we're still not very sure about how to apply it, and there's only a few cases around on it and those sorts of things. So it's the vilification, inciting to violence. The other sort of offensive speech which we worry about now is the old sedition and the incitement to violence, and really that's almost become a separate area. In fact, we look at that under the area of national security, especially with the changes in legislation. 2 or 3 years ago, sedition was almost dead on its feet. We'd talk about it, and we've got this quaint old law called sedition. But that's all changed with the terrorism threats and things like that, and the governments have actually put in very, very complex pieces of legislation trying to address that issue. But I think, yes, yes, you can call Pencil Dog a spotty old dog. I don't think that's quite racial vilification. And what, yes, you could... blasphemy, yes, blasphemy. Well, we've still got blasphemy, but strangely enough, it's in some jurisdictions it's been abolished altogether. So you can blaspheme as much as you like, get away with it. In other jurisdictions, it's still a common law offence, probably rarely enforced. The interesting thing is, yes, it only applies to Christian, Judeo-Christian tradition. So you've got to say, saying bad things about God and saying bad things about Jesus and those sorts of things. If you try to blaspheme and sort of say bad things about, say, the Prophet Muhammad, that's not blasphemy in our legal system. No doubt in other legal systems it would be considered as such. So yes, that's a funny one. So yes, offensive publications, I don't know what. Some people argue that there should be no restriction on anything people are able to see, write, do. Other people say no, there shouldn't be. In fact, it's got to a stage in Australia now with certain forms of publication it's even an offence to have them in one's possession or download them from the internet. And that's the child pornography, child exploitation material. And again, that's a response which has happened to the exploitation of children. Now, whether that's going to be effective in the long term, I don't know. It's easy to get people convicted. In fact, those people convicted of having child exploitation material are considered Schedule 1 offenders in Queensland. That's a sex offender. and they fit into the same group as the serial rapists and rape and murderers and people like that. So yes, the classification is very clumsy at the moment. Yes, very much indeed. I guess they'll have to work out what they're going to do with it, won't they? Yeah. Anyway, that's about offensive publications for this week. And yes, it was nice to see Pencil Dog. Yes, yes, you could write more on it in your assignment if you wanted to. Yes, well, that's right. Yes, one of the exam questions has gone up on the web page already. Well, the reason I did that, RoboLawyer, is so people can actually think about the courses they're studying it, because this media law course, there's going to be issues which come up, which are right up to the exam, and if they know, if they're reading the newspapers or seeing it in the media about the media law issues, they'll be able to address it and say, well, that's important, that's going to be on the exam. So it's a rather open-ended question, but it's up there in the assessment information now. And yes, it's going to be on the exam. Yes, you can make notes and take it to me. Yes. Okay, we'll say goodbye, RoboLawyer. Goodbye, Pencil Dog. Goodbye, everyone.